aren't on it. There you go. Were you guys able to see my screen when I had it flashing through there a little bit? All right. Next, we're going to go and we're going to show you how to log on. So right now, you are currently when you type in dna.hrblock.com, it will bring you to a sign-on screen, and it'll show you something like this. Since you don't remember setting a password, if you didn't go through that long, boring email that I sent you that, most people don't go through 3 bullet points, let alone a full page and a half of directions, or you couldn't find your reservation number, you would then click on this forgot HRB password. And when you click on that, it's going to ask for your SSI or your single sign-on, which you would have given and put on at the beginning. So you would type that in, you would click not a robot, and then it would move forward with asking you some questions. It's not going to let me do mine because I do mine a different way, but there it is. So I have a security set on mine that it always does, but most of you won't have that yet. You'll have your last digits of your social, your birth date, and then it'll want a password. And it's a pretty long password. Suggestion, you have to change it pretty often, so make it something that you can add just another explanation point or something like that. Make it something that you'll remember, but it basically has to be 8 characters long, and it has to have the some sort of special character, which is typically I use an exclamation point, but you could use a $sign, a star sign, whatever you'd like. And then it usually has to have an uppercase in it as well. So you go ahead and set your password, and then you would click reset password. It is then going to take you 30 minutes before you'll be able to use it again, because when you log into that screen again, it will just show that it's not working. The system takes 30 minutes to update you. And once it does, I'll show you kind of what it looks like when you log in. You will log into this front screen called DNA, Document News and Applications for our company. When you're there, there is a button called My Links. Sorry. There at the top here is your name. There is something called My Account, and it lets you update personal information, add security questions if you want, things like that. But you're in, you've got a password at that point. There is I'm hoping that you'll have access to Block Academy, which is what we're going to be looking at here in just a second. But Block Academy holds your training passports that you're going to be needing to be able to go through the training this week. And so it is the training that you will access at home. It is the training that you will use to be able to log in and get paid for it as well. So with that being said, Eponine, I don't know if you have a chance. Can you take over the screen from me and show people how to log into Kronos?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Kronos is the application that you use to get paid to log in your time that you'll be spending on the training classes that you're going to be having. So we wanted to show you kind of how to do that. Now, There is, if you forget to clock in during a training session, like you've got a virtual class you're doing and you've completed some and you're like, oh, I just did 4 hours of training and didn't clock in, just send me a note, an email or a text and say, Scott, this is Annie or Brittany or whoever's doing it. And I need you to add some time to my payroll, and I can do that. So it's not a big deal if you need me to do that, but we want to teach you how to fish. Go ahead, Eponine, if you want to take the screen. I'll allow you. Just a minute. I got to press the button, I guess. Go ahead. You got it, girl.
Okay. Not seeing it yet.
So go up to the top and click that X there again to share.
Oh, yeah.
There you are.
Okay. This is actually perfect because I haven't clocked in yet. Okay, so when you log in, you get to our DNA page. So this is the home page for everything H&R Block. You'll scroll down from top apps all the way down to Kronos. Click that.
And they don't need a default location yet. Like they don't need to worry about their office number, just mainly the code. So they can use whatever.
All right, perfect. So you guys can see you have to click transfer and then punch in yes. And then location. So you guys can choose any office. And then job, you guys will choose associate team lead. And then punch in. That's all.
And then when you punch out, the next time you don't have to do all that. You just hit punch out. And it will drop you off because it already has what you were clocked into, and then it will just punch you out. The biggest things that people forget to do is punch out, and so it leaves keeps it running. And although I'd love to pay you 24 hours a day for a whole year, it's a little impossible. So I would at the end of Fridays, I typically go through and well, I would hope I say Thursday, but Eponine knows me. It's typically Friday night or early Saturday morning that I go in and fix time adjustments that people have messed up. So do not feel bad if you mess up. It happens to everyone except me because I don't have to clock in. Yay. And your MTLs will not have to clock in. They're salaried as well. So each of you know, I will be sending out today your office lists with your office phone numbers and addresses and your MTL's name and their information. I'll be sending it to them as well. That way you guys are, have each other's contact information, and you'll be like, yeah, I actually feel like I'm a manager of something, because you'll know what you're a manager of. There's been a couple of adjustments we've had to make. Jeremy, we're rolling you from Midville East that was on Fort Union over to Midville, which is just like less than a half a mile from that location. And who are we putting in Midville East? Was it one of the new ones hired that's not on the call today?
Yeah, it's Tracy.
Perkle, Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, but most of you, we put in the location we hired you in, everything else was good. So we just want to make sure that you have that information and that you know what the office number is, because you may know the address and where it's located, but a lot of things like your Kronos and everything is tied to your office location number. So if you're 43805 and you're in West Valley, you would click transfer 43805, and then you would put in your ATL code in Kronos, and you'd be able to be paid. So, all right. With that being said, since you're still sharing, can you go into Workday and show them where they would pick out how they pick their tax setup, direct deposit, things like that?
Yeah, am I still sharing? Can you guys still see my screen?
No, you'll have to click it because I went and clicked the button again.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
All right, so let's see. Let me remember where it is.
Work days typically
It's just right.
you have to go to the applications and then to the W's. And Workday is where all of your your personal information resides. It's where when you log in, you'll go to this screen and then you'll go to US Azure. And then the personal information screen. And then there's different things you can check on here. There's personal information. There's click that more button. Names, emergency contacts.
Everything.
I don't see where you do your direct deposit. Do you know where that's at, Eponine?
I don't know where that's at. Let me unshare my screen for a second and I'll play around. I don't want to show anything sensitive on here.
Gotcha, yeah. But as you go into that screen, there's areas that you can upload information. It's how you adjust and change what you're known as, things like that. So that is called the Workday screen. And there is plenty of information in there as far as your direct deposits. There's a little training video on it that's accessible from it as well. And then we'll try to find a link that shows you how to set your direct deposit and your tax information, and we'll send that out to you as well. But that's done in the application called Workday. So with that being said, you now know how to have an office. You now know how to log in. You now know how to get paid in Kronos, most important things in life, right? And now you know how to set up your direct deposit information. Now I'm going to show you where on the screen that you would get your training documents.
I found out where to set up the direct deposit information, but it shows sensitive things. So when you get in, you'll click on the top right, there's a cloud, and then you click view your profile, and then on the left you just choose pay, and then that is how you set up your direct deposit.
All right, good to know. Thank you. I'm going to share my screen again. Now, when you get to this front screen, all the training is done in what is called Block Academy. So if you click on the Block Academy screen, it takes 1 day to get access to this when you set up your password, when you change your password with no security questions. So if you did not go through that original email and set up your password and stuff, you won't really have access to this until tomorrow. Once you click into your Block Academy, you should have something set into your assigned training. But if you do not, and what we're looking for is what's called your passport. It holds all the documents that you'll need to be trained in one grouping so that you can do it together. So if you can't find it, you will type TS21 SAS, and then you would put new associate team lead, and you'll see it. If you just type TS21 SAS, you'll see it right here. This new associate team lead pops up, and you click in, and you would have something that says add and launch or launch. I have already added it, so I'm just going to open it up and show you. This is part 1. I think you'll have 3 parts that you'll need to complete with your training. Okay.
Can everyone mute their lines?
Am
Thank
I
you.
unmuted?
You are now.
I can mute them. Just a minute here.
I can't mute the people that have joined in on their phones. So.
There's a little button called mute all, which there it is. All right, I muted everyone. Can you still hear me? Nod your head, Eponine, if you can. All right. So this is your what's called your passport screen, your first passport screen. And in here it'll have week 1. You'll click the button week 1, and you'll launch it. And what it's going to say is it's going to tell you all the things that you're going to be doing this week. So these are the orientations and the things that you are going to be doing through the week. Okay, some of them are what's called, some of them are called virtual, which you can do on your own. And then some of them are instruction led, which I am going to teach you. So it's basically just giving you a list. You're going to click mark complete, and look, it just moved 22%. All right, so then you're going to come over and you're going to click new office orientation. When you click the new office orientation, there's a launch button. And as you press this launch button, it opens up an orientation class, and you'll go through the session. And once you complete that, you will close it, and it'll show marked complete. And it will go to the next one, which is privacy and security. If you notice right here is on the 4th one is becoming an effective associate team leader. That is the one that we are scheduled for tomorrow. So tomorrow we will click into that one. It'll have a workbook that you'll be able to launch that will walk through what we're studying, what we're doing. Then you will, once you've launched that, you'll click that you attended the meeting, and then there's a small 5-question test or so on did you cover the material, and we'll kind of walk through what that looks like as we go through. There's also, this is the training that I set up. I combined 2 or 3 of them. I think it's these next 3, and I combined them and set them up for, I think I sent it to you, Eponine, was it Thursday? A Thursday meeting for 3 or 4 hours?
I think it's for tomorrow. That's from 1 to 4.
No, I didn't do that. I don't think tomorrow's is 1 to 4. We'll look and see here. Tomorrow's is just 1 to 2, and that's just becoming an effective team leader. And 1 to 4 is on Thursday, and I am combining the classes, those 3 classes right there. So client growth, operational excellence, experimental learning, SOP, virtual, and experimental learning, service quality. Those will all be available for you guys in this training class that I teach, and there'll be little tests after each one to kind of test your knowledge on where you're at with that. So that is the training from 1 to 4 on Thursday. Tomorrow we only have the one training, which is your ATL training and how to become an effective ATL. And so as you go through, there's quite a few classes in here that you will need to take that are part of your own training. You can move forward on a few of these things. Leading through change, discrimination, workplace. You can, I think you can click those and do each one of those right here. You would launch it. It's a couple hour, or I think it's an hour-long training for just that discrimination one. Living behaviors and cultures. So there's several that if it doesn't say that it's supposed to be a class, you should be able to click it and complete it. Like this new orientation, that's for you to do. So if you want to do it today and you want to log, just let me know that you've completed it. I'll add your time in because you guys are active as of today. So if you want to be earning money, I've got to add this class to all of you anyway. Just let me know how many more hours I need to add on, and you can go through and continue to click through the buttons there as far as the training. Eponine, anything else you think they should know as far as training goes?
I don't think so. I think you covered it pretty well. Just so everyone knows, you can do that training whenever. You don't have to wait for us to do a meeting. So do that training in between.
When I look at, there's a calendar of training right here. And when we look originally at that training, there's there's quite a bit spread out, and so you notice that the one on Thursday has you, your MTLs, and your team leaders. So a team leader is a person who just runs one office and writes taxes. An MTL runs 3 offices. They have 2 of you running one office and themselves running one, and that's called the pod, an MTL pod. So you'll have to remind me, we use a lot of acronyms here. And so you'll have to remind me every once in a while to say exactly what is a pod, what is an ATL even, you know? So it's an assistant team lead. And so in the past, just so you know, some of our dilemmas that we've had in our offices is that the assistant team leader has been more treated like a receptionist in the office than they have actually a team leader in the office. And you were dealing with some very strong personalities as far as tax professionals. Some of these people have been writing taxes for 20 years, and it's, you know, they've certified up to master tax advisors, and they come in and someone that is a team leader has to then lead them and has to help accomplish the task that I am giving those multi-team leaders every day in phone calls. And so you'll be getting direction that will come from your multi-team leader that comes from me during phone calls in the morning time. And it can be difficult at times, right, Eponine, to be able to feel like you're leading the team versus them leading you. I can give you a couple points of advice. I always tell my kids that I use the emotional bank account idea. You got to put money in before you can take money out. I don't know if most of you probably have overdrafts, so you can take out a little bit extra, but not much, right? The bank's going to come calling at some point. And it's the same with people. If you're asking them to do certain things, you've got to have invested that time and that effort into some sort of relationship. I'm not saying you got to rub their feet and bring them pizza every day. But I do think that treating them kindly, a few kind words, being able to form some sort of relationship with your team in your office is super important. The ones that seem to struggle are the ones that just show up and expect, like, I can't believe these tax pros want me to make all their phone calls for them. I'm not their slave, you know, I'm the team leader here. They've got to listen to me type of an attitude. But for the most part, our tax pros are very kind, and it's not like you're going to be walking into the lion's den. You know, you'll be able to get to know them pretty well, and it seems like we have a pretty good team from the talent pool that I've seen. And I think you guys will do fantastic as far as getting to know them. Some of you have been receptionists in offices before, and some have actually been receptionists in your H&R Block offices. So you know the sensitivity of tax pros and how to deal with it. That's some of your biggest opportunity. Your second opportunity you will be managing from the front desk. You will be doing receptionist duties. It's just there'll be added additional duties that you'll have on top of that. And so you will be expected to work between, what is it, Eponine, about 34 to 40 hours, somewhere in that range?
Yeah, I think I was doing 40, but I think most people go between that range.
Most people will work. Typically, the office is open at 9 a.m. But there is a small, what's called peak time that pops up during the first week of February for 2 weeks, and then the first 2 weeks of April. And those weeks, the office opens at 8, and so there may be some adjustment of hours. If some of you have kiddos that you're dealing with in school, we'll have to work around that a little bit. Most tax pros are pretty awesome, and they'll be like, hey, no problem, I'll cover the desk for an hour, or so while you're getting that taken care of. So that's not an issue. Most of the time, there's a few exceptions that have to be made too, with kids getting picked up. And so there's some ATLs that would run, grab their kids, get them situated, come back and finish out a shift. There's others that would run and get their kids and then come back in the evening time for a few hours and complete a shift, just to get a feel for what's going on in the office in the evening. We've kind of have a little bit of everything going on, but the main shift is a Monday through Friday, morning shift. That's what what you guys were probably talked to about and communicated. But I can tell you is every office is a little bit different and what they have as far as needs go with their tax pros. So some of you are working in offices where you'll have closing receptionists or CSPs, and others will not. Based on the volume of your office, it determines the need of receptionists, and some can cover them during off times with just the tax pros that are in the office without having to have someone right there. We have a system that will take the calls and route them. Clients can leave messages for tax pros, and then it'll transcribe into a message and show up on their screen. We have during certain off hours, we have a calling center in Kansas City that will answer calls and be able to transfer those calls. So if you're involved in something and a call ends up having to roll over, it's not the end of the world. We still have captured what we need from that call, but just so you know, that's how our systems are built. You'll be using a screen a lot called an appointment manager screen. It looks something like this, and it allows you to view appointments, your staffing, to be able to set the office up, to move appointments. You'll learn about how to answer a phone, what type of process we want you to use when you answer the phone, things like that. So essentially, I'm looking at an office, and this is our Jeremy's office today. We have what is called the Emerald Advance, and it's a loan that they can get on their tax return, and it's a 30-minute process. You can see that it's very popular at the beginning of the season. This is our first day for it, so they're booked pretty heavy. The yellow means the tax pro has availability for that time. Or sorry, the yellow is the scheduled time. The green is the availability. You can look at some of the keys here. There's a legend that you can open up that gives you what the colors mean and so forth. So, and you'll learn how to use this screen because this will be your best friend. Wouldn't you say that, Eponine?
Yeah, definitely. You get to know that appointment manager.
Between appointment manager and work center, those two things will be your livelihood in the office. It's what you spend the majority of your time doing. You'll be asked in the morning time to run some reports. There's a button that you click that you can run reports and put them on the back board where your tax pros can view them, and we'll teach you how to do that. We'll teach you how to set appointments. There's different types of appointments. You can imagine this tax season, there's 4 types of virtual appointments. That's going to be a big deal this year. As people don't want to risk COVID, they're going to have opportunities where they want to set virtual type appointments. and they can upload documents into their work center screens and so forth. We'll need your commitment to be able to help them do that. And so that will be something that you'll be doing as well. I think we can pause for just a minute, and if you guys have some questions or you want to type a question in the chat function, we'll give you just a few minutes here to do some questions. If there's no questions, I can give you back like 15 minutes of your life. No questions. It's a sharp group, Eponine. They're all like trying to log in, going, "This isn't working. What do I do? I'm never going to remember all this." You will remember it. And I think that it will, as you start playing with things, it will become quite easier. There's no bad question. Yes, Tam, that was the calendar, Emerald Advance that you were seeing. Some of the scheduling, it's a little bit crazy when it starts, but then it dies off after Thanksgiving. So yes, I don't even think you'll have to enter your email, Christine. If you just will click dna.hnrblock.com, and then it pulls up. You have to remember to do forgot password all the way at the bottom, because there's sometimes one that says change password that's up near the email portion. Don't click that one. Click the one that's on the bottom that says forgot HR block password. And that's the one that you do. Still trying to log in. Yeah, it takes 30 minutes once you set your password. If you've gotten the message password reset, just know in 30 minutes you can log back in, and you should be able to start to see the same screens that I was just showing you on the screen. So yep, then you enter your PSI and you put in your 5 digits of your social and your birth date, and you will be able to set your password. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I will get you out I'll send you a calendar too that shows you kind of the coursework spread out through a week. The reason I didn't send that to you is I didn't want to confuse you, because a lot of people are like, I have to be on a call for each one of those. No, there's only 2 calls or 3 calls this week. I have the one tomorrow for an hour on becoming an ATL, a better ATL, and then you have the one on Thursday for 3 hours that will be around those other 3 courses. The rest of the coursework that's in your passport is all for you to do on your own. And if I put it on a particular day, I didn't want people to say, oh, you have to be on that day. And so feel free to work on those courses and to start going through them. And hopefully by Thursday, when you click through and do those 3 courses, that's the only thing you'll have left in week 1. You'll have all your week 1 completed. It's super important, guys. I know you're all working other jobs or you have other responsibilities at your house, but it's super important to stay up on top of these so that you don't get behind into another week, because then you would have double work to do the following week. Like I said, there's no training in Thanksgiving week, but it begins right after that again. And so we want to try to stay on track and get these completed, during a reasonable amount of time in December, so that you can have the holidays off with your family. And then bam, you'll be in your office, you'll be getting supplies ready, you'll be feeling like an office leader. And Annie will be wearing her dress beanie. I always tease with somebody, they say, oh, I've got my dress sweats. I'll wear my dress sweats to work. There is a dress code, and we'll share that somewhere in there, but I can appreciate a good dress beanie once in a while. So, if I forget anything, Eponine, anything you want to cover with the group? I know that we were terrible. I was a terrible boss, and I didn't get you your information till late, but we'll get everybody caught up. It'll all work itself out.
Jeremy is asking how many hours of training per week will we have on average?
It varies, but it's about 15 hours. So it has certain weeks that has a little bit more than other weeks. But that's a good question as well, because some of you are on unemployment and have to report your time, and you're still able to draw unemployment while you do this, because we should not cross you over too many hours, and it should still allow you to draw unemployment. I don't know. Have you been drawing some unemployment, Eponine, or you've been over 40, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been over 40, so I've been off unemployment for a while.
We've got some that have been still drawing it through Christmas, and they work about 10 hours or something like that. And so I'm sure we can work it out to where we keep you active with your unemployment. So if you're on that and that's a concern, let me know, and we'll work. Just text me separate, and we'll work through that as well. I wish I could. One of the biggest problems we have, guys, is keeping you guys active and on board until your 40 hours starts the 1st of January, because we know you got to make a living. We know you got to survive. And it's difficult for me because we just don't have the hours available until the 1st of the year. So bear with us as we work through it together, and we'll do the best we can to keep you guys on track with your training and get you some extra money in your pockets. But yet you're still going to have to wait until the 1st of the year till we become fully active. So I hope to see a smiling face the first week of January, so I don't want to lose anybody. All right, with that being said, we are on 55 plus minutes. I'm going to let you have a little bit of time back. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you tomorrow. Make sure to set your calendars to Mountain Standard Time. If you do that, it'll match up with the timelines of what I've set in my calendar. And if you notice, tomorrow, it is at 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock Mountain Time. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Appreciate you.
Scott.
Thank you.